Hi, it's Paul from selfhelpforlife.com, and today I'm going to talk about the 8 areas of life and how to design your perfect life. So why is it important to know about the 8 areas of life? Well, it will help you have a balanced life. It will ensure that you don't ignore key areas in your life, such as your health, relationships, or your career. And if you ignore these areas, that could cause you pain later on in life. It ensures that you're growing in all areas. I'm a big believer that in all the main areas of life, you're either growing or you're dying. You're never really standing still. It will ensure that you're happier. When you're looking after all the different areas of your life, you're going to be happier. And it ensures that you're putting yourself first rather than other people or something like your career. Now, the 8 areas of life that I've come up with are what I feel works best for me. Feel free to change these a little bit if you need to, dependent on your culture or your values. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm actually going to rank myself out of 10 for each of these areas of life, so you get a sense of where I stand in the different areas of life as well. So the first area of life is career or business. Now, you're likely to be working on a career or business for 40 or more hours a week, so you want to make sure it's something that is fulfilling, is enjoyable, that challenges you or stretches you in some way, something that's going to make you a better person, that fits your values, your interests, and perhaps your experience as well. And you also want to have good people to work with as well, so a boss that's supportive, understanding, but also stretches and challenges you as well. Have a good company culture, and also be able to make friends at work as well. And I've found that in the past, when I've done jobs that haven't met those requirements, so either I've not enjoyed the people or I've not enjoyed the job itself, I've found that it's had an influence on my friendships, my family, and maybe my health as well. So career and business can really influence other areas of your life if you're not happy in that area, or certainly that has been the case for me. Now, if you're running a business, you want to ensure that the business is growing, that it's getting better, and that you're getting better at running the business, that you're checking key metrics to make sure that you are on the right track and that things are growing in the way you want them to. You want to be ensuring that you have a great reputation and you feel proud about what you do. So for career and business, I'm going to give myself an 8 out of 10. It is an area that I put a lot of time, energy, and focus into, but I do value other aspects of my life as well. So the second area of life is health and fitness. Now, health and fitness themselves could be subdivided into 2 sub areas. So I'll start with health first. So health is all about what you eat, what you drink, the quality of your sleep, and how you deal with stress. So ask yourself if you have any bad habits in this area. Perhaps you comfort eat, perhaps you drink too much alcohol. And remember that if you have, say, a poor diet and you do that consistently year after year for maybe 10 years or so, then the negative health effects from that are actually quite predictable. So getting heart disease or diabetes, they're very predictable. So just bear that in mind, that anything you do consistently will have predictable results, which could be negative or positive. Also, sleep is huge, and I've covered sleep in another video which will appear up here right now, so do go and check that out. And then there's stress. Remember that your body is not designed to deal with long-term, continuous and prolonged stress. It's very well equipped to deal with short-term stress, that's why we have the fight or flight response, but not long-term continuous stress. So if stress is an issue for you and you'd like some tips on how to reduce stress, then I have a video that covers that right here. Then let's turn now to fitness. So fitness really falls into 3 areas. Firstly, cardiovascular fitness. So this is doing the kind of exercise that's going to give you more energy and also improve your breath capacity over time. So when you're doing cardiovascular exercise, it forces you to breathe fully, and that's important as well. Then there's strength training or weight training. That's obviously important to become a stronger person. And then there's flexibility, so doing things like yoga to help you have a more flexible body. Now, in the area of health and fitness, I've scored myself a 6, mainly because I'm pretty good on the health side. I'm pretty good about what I eat and drink and sleep well, getting better at dealing with stress, but not so good on the fitness. I do a bit of cardiovascular fitness, mainly walking, but not so much strength and flexibility. So the third area of life is your partner or intimate relationships. So if you're single, this is about getting a partner. If you're in a relationship, this is about keeping your partner. So let's start with getting a partner first. Remember that this isn't completely within your control. However, there are a lot of things that you can do to increase the odds of finding the right person for you. So the first thing is to really know what your ideal partner looks like, what their values would be, how they would be as a person, and write all that down on a piece of paper and then start to visualize that regularly. That was something I did in my 20s and that worked really, really well for me. And then take action, go on dates, join clubs, go to the kind of places where that ideal person might hang out. So if you're in a relationship and you want to keep your partner, here are some things that you can do. So start by prioritizing quality time in that relationship. So that could be organizing date nights, or it could be organizing a weekend away once a month, something like that. And then continue to do the things that you did when you first met. So maybe that was again like date nights or buying flowers or little presents and treats. So think about the things you were doing when the relationship first started and keep doing or start doing those things again. Communication is really important. I don't believe you can ever master communicating with your partner. There's always room for improvement there. So ensure that you're always communicating as well as you possibly can. Dream together, think about your future life together and how you'd like that to be. And also being grateful and never taking your relationship for granted. So appreciating the little things that your partner says and does, saying I love you regularly, and just enjoying being with that person and the special times that you have together. So for this area, for partner and intimate relationship, I'm giving myself a 7 out of 10. Hopefully my wife agrees. So the fourth area of life is money and wealth. Now, a key reason why many relationships break up is a lack of money. So you can begin to see how one area of life can influence another area, because being in debt is hugely stressful and that can really have a negative impact on a relationship. So how do you deal with money? Well, it's pretty simple. We either need to earn more money or spend less money, or do both. Now, it's generally easier to spend less money than earn more money, so let me focus a little bit on that. So it's really about budgeting. I've talked about this more in another video which will appear up here right now, but basically to summarize, it's allowing 60% of your total income for your living costs, 10% for guilt-free spending, call this splurge. This is for like drinks at the pub and going out for dinner, those kind of things. 10% for longer term purchases, so that might be saving up for something or for going on holiday. And then 20% for unexpected financial issues, which you can also use for investing as well, because there will be unexpected financial issues that will arise in your life, and if you're not prepared for those, they can get you into debt. So examples could be another recession or global financial crisis. Okay, we haven't had one for a while now. People are talking that one is imminent. Now, I don't know whether it's going to be this year, next year, maybe it'll be 3 or 4 years' time, but we can pretty much guarantee there will be another recession or global financial crisis. So you want to be prepared for that. What happens if you get sick? Usually in most parts of the world, there's going to be some financial cost to getting sick. So you want to be prepared and be ready for that. If you're in a business, your business could fail despite doing everything possible to make it a success. There's always a chance it could fail. Or it could be a divorce that affects you financially. And I know quite a few people, some of them are lawyers that are in their late 60s and are still working. So they're earning a good income, but clearly something went wrong along the way that means that they're still working when they could be enjoying a great retirement. And then there's wealth, and this is more about building up the ability to have income coming in regardless of whether you're working or not. So if you're investing some of that 20%, that could be interest from a savings account or dividends from shares. It could also be if you have property, so rental property, getting rent from that. Could be running some kind of online business where you're selling physical or digital products on the internet. So for money and wealth, I give myself a 4 out of 10. Now on the positive side, I am debt free. So that's a good thing, but my income is relatively low, and that's been a lifestyle decision. My expenses are a little bit higher than I'd like them to be, so there's some room for improvement there. So I'm giving myself a 4 out of 10 for that, although I do feel that I have a good roadmap in place to improve that over time. So the fifth area of life is personal and spiritual development. So like health and fitness, this is kind of two areas. So I'll start with personal development. So personal development, as you know, is all about becoming a better you, becoming a better person, and doing things more effectively in life. And personal development could involve having a morning ritual, so maybe meditating or doing a gratitude journal or journaling generally, visualizing, reminding yourself of your goals, reciting affirmations, all those typical things that work best when you do them consistently. It could also be regularly reading books or attending courses or seminars, so investing in those. And most importantly, it's about applying what you're learning, so ensuring that when you're out and about doing other things that you are consistently applying the things that you learn. Now, spiritual development could include prayer or meditation. It could include gratitude, so keeping a gratitude journal or expressing gratitude. And it could include connecting to a higher power in whatever way that works for you and for whatever that higher power is, for whatever you believe that higher power is. So that's probably going to depend on whether you're religious, whether you follow a particular religion, or whether you more follow the kind of law of attraction idea that there's this kind of higher energy out there. Now, also under personal development and spiritual development could also include community activities and volunteering. So you could put those kind of activities into this area as well. So for personal and spiritual development, I'm giving myself a 6 out of 10. The reason for that is I do spend a lot of time learning and researching and finding out new ideas that I can share in these YouTube videos and also in my blog posts as well, and also for helping my hypnotherapy clients. So when they come with something that's a little bit unusual, I'm often researching how I can help them with that. But I'm not especially active at the moment on actually working on myself directly. I think I'm working on myself quite a lot indirectly, but I'm not really doing a morning ritual or anything like that at the moment. So that's why I give myself a 6 out of 10 for personal and spiritual development. So the 6th area of life is family, friends, and social. Now this could easily be 3 separate areas, but I've grouped them together here. So firstly, family. So this is your immediate family. So if you have kids, it includes your kids. It would also include your parents and also your siblings as well, and also your extended family. So that could be uncles, aunts, grandparents, nephews, and nieces. So for friends, this is about connecting and reconnecting with good friends and spending quality time with them. It might also be about making new friends. And one of the things I like to do is have a weekly friend ritual. So once a week, I spend an evening with a good friend that I haven't seen for a while, and we just share experiences about life and catch up. And if some of your friends are a long way away, why not meet up via Skype? You can still share experiences and you can still have a drink together, you're just doing it virtually. And then the final area is social. So this is about connecting with groups of people. So these could be your work colleagues, these could be groups of friends, these could be joining clubs where you meet like-minded people, or going to meet-up groups. So this is more about meeting people in more of a group setting. So for family, friends and social, I'm giving myself 5 out of 10. This is one area that has been a little bit on the back burner for the last 2 or 3 years while I've been developing Self Help for Life and my hypnotherapy business here in Sydney. Also, most of my family are in the UK, so I don't get to see them very often, and even talking on the phone can be challenging with the different time zones, but that's something I could put more effort into. However, I have been quite good at meeting one-on-one with my closer friends, and that's something I really enjoy doing. So the 7th area of life is recreation and hobbies. So these are the fun things that you do, the things that make you happy, and the things that help you relax. So let's kick off with recreation first. So that's things like day trips and weekends away. And it's interesting because when I was a child, my parents were very good at making sure that every weekend we'd go out at least on a Saturday afternoon. They'd take us up into the hills near Manchester. And it was funny how a lot of my friends at school, their parents did nothing at weekends. They were just doing things around the house and they would just be playing with their friends or getting bored. But my parents were very good at making sure that we got out as a family once a week. Now, recreation could also be going on holiday, so experiencing other countries, other cultures, maybe seeing different wildlife in different countries or experiencing different foods. So then there's hobbies. So this could be playing or watching different sports. So it could be going kayaking or going sailing or playing golf, or it could be watching the soccer either on TV or watching it live. Could also be playing a musical instrument or listening to music. It could be art or crafts. It could be playing computer games. So whatever it is for you, ensure that you have time to cultivate some kind of hobby. So for recreation and hobbies, I'm giving myself a 7 out of 10. My main hobbies at the moment are walking. I love walking out in nature and I do make time to do that. Also weekends away and travel and holidays. Done quite a bit of traveling and holidays in the last few months. I also love music as well. At the moment that's mainly listening to music, but that's something I can do on the move when I'm walking and on public transport. So I always make time to enjoy doing that. So number 8 and the last one is home environment and things. So home is really about the place you live in. So is it big enough for you? The shape of the place, the amount of space you have. It would also include things like doing home renovations. It would include the kind of colour scheme, paint scheme you have, and just how you feel in your home generally. So then there's environment. So this is the area that you live in. Do you live in a safe area? Do you live in a nice area? Or do you live in a rough area? When you're out and about walking or on public transport, do you feel safe or do you feel you have to be on guard? It would also include the weather, so how much sunshine you have, how much rain you have. Is it a hot area? Is it a cold area? What are the daylight hours like? Now some people that live in the northern hemisphere in places like Scandinavia often suffer from SAD, which is seasonally adjusted depression in the winter months, and that's because the daylight hours in those countries might be 5 or 6 hours, and that can have a real effect on people's mental health. So does winter affect you? Do you feel a bit down and depressed in the winter? So consider that. And also the air quality. What's the air quality like where you live? Does that affect you as well? So then there's things. So things that you buy that don't come under hobbies. So this could be things like buying a new car, a new TV, jewellery, or even computers, smartphones and other gadgets. So what kind of things do you like to buy that are not really a hobby? So consider that as well. So for home environment and things, I'm giving myself an 8 out of 10 for this. I now live in Sydney and I live in a very safe part of Sydney, just north of the harbour. It's the kind of area where it's very safe to walk at night and I never really need to concern myself about personal safety. This was a different story 11 or 12 years ago when I lived in London and the environment was very important to myself and my wife, which was why we moved to Sydney, Australia 10 years ago, because we wanted better quality of life. We wanted to have more sunny days. We wanted to have warmer winters. We wanted to have more daylight hours. So this is something you can control. It just takes a bit of time and a bit of commitment to make it happen. We also live in a great apartment. We have lovely views of Sydney Harbour and it's very spacious and just a really nice place to be. So these are the 8 areas of life. I hope you found them useful and I encourage you now to do what I've just done and score yourself for each area of life. And if there are some areas of life where your score is quite low, then start to do some of the things that I've suggested to try and improve that area of life. So if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, do give it a thumbs up and do leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. And do subscribe to this channel if you haven't already yet and click the bell notification so you will always be notified whenever I release future videos. And also check out my website, that is selfhelpforlife.com. On my website you will find the written versions to many of these videos and also details of my podcast and social media channels on there as well. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video and I look forward to sharing more great content with you very soon. Bye for now.